Last challenge, I took on the adorable tale of Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, and despite its pitfalls, I had a good time. So nothing like contrasting one of my more lighthearted challenges with the bloodiest challenge yet, when I seek to beat Deadpool without using any upgrades. Gotta keep everyone on their toes. So here's a little warning, since I know many of my challenges aren't quite so gutsy, and I'd hate to surprise you with buckets of blood if you're not prepared for it. I don't need another carry situation. As for the challenge, it's pretty straightforward. The game is full of powerful upgrades that you can earn as you slaughter your way through the story, and these make Deadpool into a true insane powerhouse, like the mitochondria. Upgrades, people, upgrades. We're not getting them. I've gone years without ever improving as a person, so I'd hate for Deadpool to show me up by improving himself. Let's take default Deadpool, turn on the hardest difficulty, make a quick snack or two, give my dog much needed love, and head out to learn nothing from my many failures. First priority, have fun jumping. Second priority, stare at the upgrades I will never have. Once I'm done doing those essential actions, it's time to make my explosive entrance and get to slicing my way through a plethora of very unlucky guards. Foolish past me does not realize yet how durable the guards will become later in the game, so this is a beautiful, short period of carnage where the guards aren't very absorbent. Neither am I though, as I soon discover when the enemies whip out guns and fill me with holes. Holes I can heal, but very slowly, and only if I'm lucky enough to get away. I can only teleport a couple times within a short span of time, but it's already proving vital, and it will only become more vital as we progress. I mustn't die when there are so many chimichangas left uneaten.
Break out the heavy firepower. Stop.
No, do not break out the heavy firepower. Also, if you had heavy firepower, why didn't you start with that? Why do they always work up to it? I promised my mom I'd never die in the TV studio. It's the one thing she asked of me. You waving goodbye to your friends? Good on you. How do I miss every shot? It's a gift to be this bad.
Closing in on the crime lord I'm here to assassinate, so far I've managed to avoid death's loving embrace, but that quickly changes at the appearance of an attack helicopter. I figured I could move faster than the copter could turn me into Swiss cheese, and I figured wrong. 3 times I fall before I finally listen to Deadpool and realize I'm supposed to shoot at the gunner in order to scare him just enough for me to advance without being dead in a pool of my own blood. Then it's my turn to hijack the big gun and get to mowing down enemies in a rare moment of power.
Finally! Power! Endless power! Sorry guys, it went right to my head.
I recognize at this point that no upgrades means I'm not going to ever get better weapons and fully be locked out of any grenades for the entire game. While I'm lamenting this sorry state, I'll keep dying to the first boss of the game, a really big dude with a really big gun. No further description needed.
What are you made out of? Oh, I know what I'm not made out of, whatever you're made out of. Teehee, you missed. You didn't miss that time, I'll give you that. He's so good at his job!
Swords or pistols, neither deal much damage, and it only takes 2 hits to pop me, so not much to do but flee and fire back, hoping that one of these bullets will kill him, or he'll do me a favor and have a stroke. No such luck though. I'm just glad there's more ammo for the pistol constantly popping in so that persistence can pay off. Time to make their boss pay for making me hurt so much.
It's okay, I'm doing this for your health. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Although this looks like it's gonna kill you.
Listen, I know it's a bounce house, but I was not aware that would be enough to survive falling hundreds of feet. Clearly I'm mistaken, as the crime lord runs away and I'm stuck in an 8-bit version of this game. It's only supposed to be for a moment since Deadpool blew the game's budget, but it goes on for a while longer for me as I'm no good at avoiding fire. It does give me time to ponder why striking skeletons causes blood to pour out of them. I would think that is something bones don't have, but I'm not a scientist and I was already wrong about the bouncy house, so what do I know? Other than fire is very painful, and I need to learn to avoid it if I'd like to stay alive.
Let me remind you that my website got 15 million hits the weekend we announced. 1 million one? 1 million.
Hey, that's how I get all my views. With the game returned to normal, or as normal as it can get in a Deadpool game, I'm disappointed to already come across foes that take minimum damage from my strikes. Even worse is these guys are going to be the new normal. I'm just glad they're so bad at fighting back, because I'm going to be at this for quite a while. I'd have an even bigger issue facing off with a large mutated monster, but I'd rather just run by, only to be instantly killed by some steam. I'm a guy famous for the amount of punishment he can tank through, and yet hot steam is enough to one-shot me. Yippee! Here's where I come across Arclight, the first proper superhuman boss fight. No offense to the last guy, I suppose tanking all those bullets was pretty superhuman. But Arclight has flashier powers, like shooting, arcs of light. I think I'm starting to get why she has the name she does. Flashy powers she may possess, but her true trouble is how her health bar doesn't want to budge. My guns tickle her, and I feel my swords do even less. But at least with them, I can keep juggling her in the air, making it so Arclight barely has a chance to attack back. Which is extremely necessary, as it's really easy to kill me and restart all my progress.
It's gonna keep stabbing you if that's okay. It does seem to be okay. She doesn't seem to mind too much. Oh, never mind. She minds. She's overall pretty chill about this, which I really appreciate. It's what you always want in a victim.
Switching between heavy and light attacks makes it so she can't do anything. But when she does remember how to block, that's when it's time for me to get away in order to regain my health. It's not a fast process, but she's not in a hurry to kill me, so it's doable. It's only 4 minutes of near endlessly slashing at her, but it feels like a lifetime more. With her death, I can face off against Vertigo. As someone who gets motion sickness really easily and despises spinning teacup rides and whatnot, I truly fear her. Thankfully, her powers don't translate mechanically, at least for me. Not so much for Deadpool, and down he goes. Right into a sewer slide of pain. 2 hits and I'll go splat, and I don't have the reaction time to handle this, so that's exactly what I keep doing. Who could have guessed sliding down a disgusting sewage pipe could be so bad for your health? When I do get lucky enough to survive, I find out that my target is not so lucky, as he's no longer of use to Mr. Sinister, the big bad of the game. Nothing Deadpool can't easily handle. Oh, wait, nope, I'm only ahead. That's gonna make combat a teeny bit more difficult. After some much needed beauty sleep, the X-Men show up because they're massive fans of me, I think, and don't want to go alone to stop Mr. Sinister. They need their best pal, Deadpool, to do it for them, though letting him drive might have been a bad idea. While the X-Men take a long nap that isn't my fault whatsoever, I'm off to explore and cause untold amounts of bloodshed. Mainly, my blood is the one being shed when I'm attacked by Sinister clones that have the same abilities as the nigh invulnerable mutant Blob, which just translates to them being damage sponges who refuse to die until I'm old and senile after years of attacking them. Feels like years anyway. Nothing like stabbing a guy for 2 minutes only to get one shot even when he's facing the wrong way. After 10 minutes of fighting and dying to this singular big lad, I'm happy to report that I'm able to teleport out of his attacks just long enough to finally bring him crashing down. Then it's time to get stuck in battle against a grenade-launching mutated monster. I do such pitiful damage, but my new friend is incredibly slow, so patience and running in circles wins out yet again. Only for Cable, the super serious mutant soldier from the future, to pop in and rant about something or another about Mr. Sinister and his evil machinations. All I know is I spent 6 straight minutes fighting that mutated monster, and yet the moment it died, is when Cable bothers to show up. What inconvenient timing for me.
Make it stop.
Hey, Deadpool's watching one of my videos, you can tell.
Not quite as inconvenient as the waves of evil Sinister clones and bullet-loving soldiers that swarm me a second later. Nothing like stabbing and shooting my way through all of them, only for not one, but 2 blob clones to ambush me. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
I'm gonna die. There's no way I'm surviving. No, I can do this. I am Deadpool. Well, I was Deadpool. Gotta say, surprised I survived that. Surprised I survived that as well. Wow, I'm quite the survivor. For at least the next second. Oh look, it wasn't even a second.
No matter how many bullets I pack into them, or how many sword strikes I land, I am not skilled enough to survive long against 2 of them. But I am skilled enough to scream and flee in fear, simply running past the entire fight, like the noble hero I am.
Aha! I got away! Losers! Oh, they're still shooting at me. I should go. They know how to jump. Okay, fantastic. Oh, I'm gonna die. I regret the loser comment, I admit. My bad. Hang on. I'm doing something. Just give me a moment. Nice thing is, he really is giving me a moment. Oh no. Was that the sound of lightning? Maybe it's natural lightning. Definitely not mutant lightning. Oh, well, I'm never that lucky. Why? Why is being Palpatine one of his powers? And why does he have to have friends? I don't have friends. Well, I had friends, but, you know, I knocked them out in a plane accident, but that's not my fault.
There's no running away from a fight with this storm clone who loves to hover almost out of reach and show me the full power of the dark side. I'm just glad Stormy's stupid enough to come in this tiny hideaway and make it really easy for me to slice him up, only for a second one to pop into existence and zap me dead, restarting the whole mess. I'm not getting lucky enough for one of them to join me in close quarters, no matter how long I wait and hope. So, time for the old hit and run tactic. It's not a bad tactic, it's my favorite tactic in fact. I'm just a bad player who gets impatient trying to stab the floaty guy and then pays dearly for it. Until beautiful, heroic, muscular Cable shows up and starts opening fire on my foes. At that point, who needs the hit and run when I can just run and let Cable do all the hitting for me? Especially when I'm being chased by 2 mutates. No way am I slowing down just to die to those guys. Unless of course they make it worth my while, and I get to be the one with the big bad gun. I'm always for that.
Get out of here, dude.
Almost there.
Move. Move.
Following the
You get it? It's pretty bad.
With all those dead Sinister goons, I can climb this tower and kill Mr. Sinister with ease. Except this delicious Cable taco tells me that's not the real Mr. Sinister and just a clone. No taco has ever led me astray, so I trust it and head to slice up non-tacos in my search for the real Mr. Sinister. At this point, the game mainly only sends clones that have a good deal of health, so every single fight is dragged out as I strive to keep them all off balance and wear down their health slowly. I only have access to 1 momentum power that I can charge by endlessly slicing away, and it makes such a difference as it both deals slightly better damage, but it also stuns all the enemies I hit with it, and while I use it, I'm invulnerable to damage. If only it recharged faster, but I'll take what I can get.
Oh, you guys are great. What is in those guns? Probably bullets. I've never felt more alive. And you guys have never felt more dead.
Melee fights heavily favor me, however slow, but anytime the enemies think to have guns, that's where things go badly for me. Within seconds, I'm usually flopping to the ground if I don't take care to stay in cover, while I trade fire with them. Cover I can't take when I control a destroyed mutant killer robot's boot and use it to rain death upon my foes. Only problem is that there are certainly a lot of foes and I'm a fragile Deadpool. I actually begin to worry heavily here that I lack the health to pull through as I'm killed so quickly and there's nothing I can do but fire and hope. As it turns out, being very selective in who I kill and making sure not to waste a shot does allow me to very barely survive. I really thought this was meant to be a power fantasy moment, but my many deaths conflict with that hope. I'm fairly certain the game tires of me dying because I don't deserve to live through this last part as my health hangs at exactly 1 point left, and yet the carnage continues. I'll take any sympathy the game will provide me, or anybody will provide me. I'm just a poor little rat after all, who can't be blamed when I smash straight into the X-Men Rogue and send us both crashing down deep into the complex. Rogue is Rogue napped by Blockbuster, who, much to my sorrow, is not as cool as the DC supervillain who faces off with Nightwing. You know, Vertigo did remind me of Count Vertigo, another DC supervillain who's much cooler. I never tire of the Marvel and DC comparisons. Aquaman and Namor, Hawkeye and Green Arrow, Black Cat and Catwoman, Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel. If only Deadpool, aka Wade Wilson, the super skilled blade-wielding mercenary with a healing factor, had a DC version. Deathstroke, aka Slade Wilson, the super skilled blade-wielding mercenary with a healing factor? It'll never happen. Oh yeah, Rogue's in danger, isn't she? Time to get refocused. If only Rogue's usual love interest, Gambit, wasn't in the way. Also, there's a lot more of him than I remember existing, and every one of them is obsessed with exploding violently. Not that it's possible to explode gently, I suppose. Plus, it's impossible not to look at Gambit now and not hear,
"You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here."
echoing through my hollow head, so it's nice to know my brain is as destroyed as my body is. Fun stuff. By that I mean highly, highly painful. Oh my god, there's another. But at least I wasn't surprised. Wow, that was impressive. Didn't really do anything to me, but still impressive. Reaching Blockbuster, I'm ready for a very long, drawn-out fight. Much to my happy surprise, Blockbuster, despite being all brawn, is not too difficult. Doesn't mean my body isn't busted every which way, but not too many times. He's really easy to stun, and I can just repeat this while avoiding getting squished until he sleeps the eternal sleep. Then, in order to save Rogue, Deadpool lets her absorb his healing factor, and I get to play as a Rogue Deadpool hybrid, which is wonderful, cause Rogue hits way harder, but also terrible, cause she lacks a teleporter or pistols and gets hit far more often. I actually die more as Rogue than I did fighting Blockbuster. This is until I realize swords do not compare in power to cartwheels, which of course, how dumb of me. And I just spam my deadly cartwheels until everyone is dead. Then it's back to Deadpool as I'm blasted underground in order to help Deadpool's love interest, Death herself, in stopping Mr. Sinister's corpse harvesting plan so she can claim their spirits. I'm not sure how much of that I understand either, but all I need to know is who to shoot and stab, and I'm good to go. With Cable also fighting down here, it's really not too much trouble, mainly because I hide and let him do all the work, but still. The trouble is when I jump into magical portals and have to fight all by my lonesome against wave after wave of enemies. I do get an over 200 hit combo, which is pretty nice. But I also get a hail of explosive barrels and grenades chucked at me for quite a while, which is less nice. I can survive that, but the explosive men? That's where things get tricky. If not for the invincibility of my momentum attack and them blowing each other up, I'd be scattered across these caverns forevermore. Which would really suck, as I'd miss out on fighting a giant keg machine and facing Deadpool's inner demons with the power of a cannon that shoots beach balls. After playing X-Men Legends, I do have to say, I don't remember Deadpool being in the background, shooting beach balls at the Sentinels, but I wish he had been. All the pain to be found down here is well worth it though, because I get to wear a pirate hat the entire time, and I don't know what trauma can't be overcome with a pirate hat on. With all that nonsense done, I make Death happy, and get to go back topside. Shouldn't have to worry about missing her though, because up here is where the game becomes truly hellish, as my lack of upgrading really catches up with me, and I'm sent back to death over and over.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Gonna make things a tad bit harder. Things are so chaotic, and I'm so scared right now. I was gonna say I'm still alive, but that's no longer true. I really hate you guys. I just want to make sure that's clear. I don't want any confusion.
I try my darndest to fight the tough blobs that come a-calling before I remember it's not really cowardly to run away from fights if you're running right at other people trying to kill you, right? While fortunately, that running away does succeed, the next will not, as my way is blocked on a narrow path by tons of gunmen, blade wielders, and a minigunner. Hiding under the stairs and trading bullets is a surprisingly effective plan since they refuse to follow me down here, but not effective enough to be successful. Pulling them all away from where I need to go, then rushing back, is also not successful as there are even more gunmen ready to block my path. So finally, I resort to my old faithful tactic of hit and runs as I try to knock as many foes as possible off these ledges and sprint away before I can die. Most times, that doesn't work, but sometimes I get lucky, and when the enemies, like the large minigunner, arrive, they don't even clear the first jump and instead plummet right to their death. Who needs skill when you can rely on luck? The answer is still me, because I often die anyway and have to restart. But if I can get lucky in that way and follow it up with the hit and runs that focus on pushing my enemies off the ledges, I can finally eliminate everyone here and then restart regardless when more gunmen chase me down. But after half an hour lost to this section, I can finally get lucky when a couple of the gunmen forget how walking and solid objects work. I love it when my enemies' brains stop working properly, so we're finally on an even playing ground. Repeat this process of dying painfully to a hail of bullets that I can't do much about but hope I get lucky against, and you'll capture the rest of my time advancing on Mr. Sinister's headquarters. It only gets harder, and I only end up dying more and more, but I discover that a good deal of Sinister's defenses can be run past, which is my only saving grace. Still, lots of dying along the way, but it's technically doable. That is, till I reach the gates of evil itself, which can't be skipped at all and outstomps 3 blob duplicates. 3! A whole freaking trio! Do they not like me? Does this game enjoy watching me suffer? Well, alrighty, let's do this then.
Where there's a will, there's a way. And with me, there's always a will. Much like all of my life, all I have to do is keep going in circles. I might stand a chance.
There's infinite ammo up in this corner that spawns every 30 seconds or so, and while in this area, the nearby gunmen can't hit me. Mostly, anyway. As for the big laddies, they're dangerous and will tear me apart like normal. And really, they do just that. But if I just keep shooting and slicing every chance I get, however rare those chances might be, and then I follow it up with a very conservative use of my teleports and jumping, I actually make a strong dent in them. Usually I still die horribly, but hey, it's progress. Dozens of deaths come at their sizable hands as I spend 1 hour trying to kill them before they finally do me the decency of toppling. Only for me to get immediately swarmed by many more durable blade clones and gunmen, but all of them are a lot easier to beat than the blobs. Or so I think before I'm killed again and sent back to fight the blobs once more. What kind of fresh hell is this that beating the big lads doesn't provide me with a checkpoint? Another hour passes before I can kill the blobs again, and this time, I'm not taking any risks, very slowly pushing through the remaining hostiles while staying far away from any enemies with guns. This allows me to finally reach a checkpoint before tons more enemies, including 2 minigunners, pour out and begin tearing me apart. This is just pure hit and run at this point, wearing away their health till they're both dead, which normally takes me 10 minutes to do. But killing both triggers an even greater amount of killers to attack, and since many of those are hardy gunmen that I can't avoid, I die and must restart the minigunners yet again. Killing the minigunners isn't much trouble, even if it's at a snail's pace, but my survival odds really drop with those gunmen, even if I have a minigun of my own. So, time to put on my strategist hat and lure the minigunners to a corner before killing them so I'm in a safe zone and can't be flanked. That way, I can tear apart all the attackers who pop in and the gunmen don't even come up here. It's still a long process and it doesn't always work out, but after a couple tries, I finally reach a cutscene and I feel sweet freedom. From that wave anyway, as now I must kill Blockbuster, Arclight, and Vertigo again, but this time at the same time. I'm convinced the real Mr. Sinister designed this level because it's the worst thing ever. Vertigo may die in one shot, but killing her summons a minion to hurt me, so I'm leaving her for last since she doesn't do more than make my screen slightly harder to look at. Blockbuster is pretty easy to avoid and only Arclight makes me sweat. But at this point, my suffering meter has reached the red, so I'm as focused as my easily distracted brain can be, and I'm pretty capable at avoiding everything they can throw at me, which Blockbuster loves to throw things, so I mean that literally. Make sure not to rush Blockbuster's or Arclight's death, because I suspect killing either one of them will summon that annoying minion, which proves to be true. But my planning allowed me to kill both supervillains back to back, followed by Vertigo immediately, leaving that lonely minion in a very unlucky place to be. All that pain, all that slow whittling away, just for Mr. Sinister to pop out and ruin everything. It was the 7-hour point when I beat the death level, and it took me 1.5 hours to reach these evil gates and begin all these waves. Here I am now at nearly 13 hours total, finally facing the villain I've been chasing all game, only to discover I can't cut it. Attacked by both Mr. Sinisters, I do no damage, which is pretty normal, and I die in 2 hits, which is also pretty normal. The new problems are Sinister loves to block randomly, hits pretty fast, and from all distances. That really sucks. But the absolute worst part of him is the invincibility momentum attack, which has served me wonderfully all game. Yeah, he can just ignore that and grab me, dealing massive damage to me. He's completely random about when he'll do it as well. But if I can get the hit off enough and keep spamming my attacks, after 4 minutes of slicing, I can kill both of them. Only to be attacked by 3 more of them and killed, restarting the battle. I swear by the thing's great Aunt Petunia, why? What foul cruelty is this? No matter how I try, no matter how I fight, death always awaits me. Her embrace is no longer sweet, and my heart is heavy at the thought of having to give up on the challenge. My friend does encourage me to try a couple more times, and if I don't make headway, I should accept that it's not going to happen. That's fair, and I do try a lot more than a couple, but it's still not happening. After all I pushed through, I can't beat Mr. Sinister and his endless clones when I'm this feeble. So I relent and finally upgrade myself. I try to improve to a minimum degree, just like when I was in therapy. And while it does make a big difference, minimally improving isn't enough either, as Sinister keeps killing me. I've already failed the challenge by upgrading at all, but I'm not willing to keep improving and make it worse. That's when I realize, hey, I'm an idiot. I mean, that's obvious to anyone who spends longer than 3 minutes with me, but in this case, it's because I realized I don't have to fail the challenge. I totally forgot lowering the difficulty was an option, and that's not against the rules, I just always prefer not to. Resetting my upgrades so I'm back to no upgrades, I lowered the difficulty down to normal difficulty, which resets the entire level. It's a painful slog back, but not nearly as bad as it was on Ultra Violence difficulty. I wouldn't qualify how slowly I kill as smashing through, but I certainly do way better against the blobs, the waves of enemies, the trio of D-list supervillains, and finally Mr. Sinister. He still kills me a few times, but now I can make actual reasonable progress against his mini clones. Which, yeah, with the number of them there turns out to be, I would never have managed it on the higher difficulty. Finally, we can say huzzah! It was really touch and go there at the end, but after 15 hours, 44 minutes, and 389 deaths, I've beaten Deadpool without any upgrades, though not all of it was on the hardest difficulty. I'll take it regardless. My soul is going to need a healing factor after all that. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I'm off to clone an army of me's so that they can do my challenge work, scripting, and editing for me while I slumber for a decade or two. If nothing else, maybe I can use them to seize control of the galaxy. I hope you have a wonderful day, friend, and please enjoy a chimichanga or two in Deadpool's name. Bye-bye for now.